Shalom, the beloved of Yah. Welcome to Torah Gen, Sekula. Today I want to deal with a famous story in the Brit Hadashah or the Renewed Covenant Scriptures. I tell you, Peter, the rooster will not crow this day before you will deny me 3 times. I quote Luke 22, verse 31 to 34. And the Lord said, Simon, Simon, indeed Satan has asked for you that he may sift you as wheat. But I have prayed for you that your faith should not fail. And when you have returned to me, strengthen your brethren. But he said to him, Lord, I am ready to go with you both to prison and to death. Then he said, I tell you, Peter, the rooster will crow this day before you will deny 3 times that you know me. This is one of the most famous stories in the gospel accounts, repeated in both Matthew and Mark as well. However, there is one major problem with this translation. Chickens, roosters, were not allowed in Jerusalem during temple times. The reason for this prohibition was that chickens are a filthy bird, having an obnoxious habit of finding their way into places where they do not belong. I've owned chickens, and these birds, they have this habit of going to places where they are not supposed to be, and they often sleep above ground in trees and in roofs or anywhere like this. So I can understand why there was this prohibition in Jerusalem for chickens. Therefore, to ensure that chickens could not gain access to the temple and desecrate the holy place, or worse still yet, the Holy of Holies, the priest simply forbade everyone in Jerusalem from having chickens, and especially roosters. So what about this famous passage of scripture? It certainly says in our English translations just quoted that a rooster crowed and it was heard in the courtyard of the palace of the high priest. The proper translation is really quite evident when the culture of that time is understood. The rooster or the cock that Peter and Yeshua heard was not a bird at all, but a man. This light should be going off in your head now. This was a man and not a rooster. The man was a temple priest, and he was the one who had the responsibility of unlocking temple doors each and every morning before dawn. Every night, this priest would lock the doors to the temple and place the key in an opening on the floor of one of the temple side rooms. Then he would place a flat stone over the opening and place his sleeping mat over the stone. He would literally sleep over the key of the temple. The temple had side rooms to its construction. So this priest, he slept on the side room here in the temple. And he had a very important job because it is he who comes out and makes the announcements. In the morning, this priest would arise at first light and retrieve the key. He would then proceed to unlock the doors to the temple and cry out 3 statements in a loud voice. 3 statements. All the Kohanim, prepare to sacrifice. All the Levim, prepare to your stations. All the Israelites, come to worship. That he would repeat these 3 statements 2 more times. The temple priest in question was known as the temple crier, and he was called the Gavia in Hebrew, which means cock or rooster. Did you hear that? Gavia means cock or rooster. So everyone around during that time called him the rooster. It's common sense. It was his obligation to rouse all priests, Levites, and worshippers and call them to begin their preparations for the morning sacrifice service. In the stillness of the early morning, sound carried well, and since the palace of the high priest was within a very short walk from the temple, it was the Gavia's cry that was heard in the courtyard where Yeshua was being questioned, and not a rooster. It now makes perfect sense. And because we don't understand the culture, the idioms of the time, we get these erroneous translations, that bring out different meanings of these terms, which not just this one, but many others. So here, if we look at the context here of who this man was, the whole passage is fully illuminated, and we can see this is how this story should have been translated. And he, Simon, Simon, see, Satan has asked for you to sift you as wheat. This is a quote from Amos 9, verse 9. But I have made tefillah, prayer for you, that your emunah, faith, fails not. And when you have made teshuvah, repentant, strengthen your Israelite brothers. And he said to him, Master, I am ready to go with you both in prison and to death. And he said, I tell you, Kepha, Peter, the Kavia rooster, he shall not cry out this day before you shall 3 times deny that you know me. That makes perfect sense. And now you can see the beauty of the Bible and how everything makes sense when you understand the culture and the background. When you know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Baruch Hashem, Yehovah.